just a second. Your mic's on, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, it was going.
Yep.
Alrighty, good evenings, ladies and gentlemen. One more time here before we flip over probably to our Thursday on July 13th. Today's still the 12th, though. Got 30 more minutes in it. Bringing you another severe weather update. I'm student meteorologist Sam Patterson. With me is meteorologist Sam Lane. Chills tracking that storm in northern Bourbon County. They have actually issued a flash flood warning, which Sam and I had talked about earlier a couple hours ago. Rainfall rates currently 3 inches an hour, and they've already received up to 4 to 6 inches of rainfall out there. So if you live in northern Bourbon County or know anybody that lives out in northern Bourbon County, definitely let them know that this flash flood warning is in effect. And please do not drown. Turn around if you see any standing water. Don't need any drowning deaths coming out of there. Also, they did issue a severe thunderstorm warning off of that storm in northern Bourbon County. 70-mile-per-hour winds and half-dollar-size hail still going on. And then they also did issue the flash flood warning for extreme northwestern Vernon County in Missouri, and that is in effect until 3 a.m. I believe tomorrow. I would not be surprised to see that extended out, especially with this rainfall continuing to fall. And then finally, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning issued in extreme eastern St. Clair County in Missouri. That is currently on its way out. We'll take a look at it for just a second. That also will have that 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. Hail is currently recording less than 3/4 of an inch, so a little less than about that half-dollar size, closer to about penny-sized hail. But again, that is on its way out, still moving very slowly. Actually, that one's moving a little bit faster at 35 miles per hour to the southeast. Those will clear out of our viewing area shortly. But again, we still have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect for northern Bourbon County in Kansas. And then we also have one going on in Woodson and Wilson counties in Kansas. Take a look at that one as well. That one is in effect until midnight, still recording 60-mile-per-hour gusts and hail closing in on an inch, which is about a quarter-sized hail. Torrential rainfall with that storm as well, and again, that is going to push just to the south of Bourbon County. Might impact possibly Crawford County and as well as Neosho and Neosho counties as those continue to move.
Yeah, they just updated the warning there now.
They did just drop that? Okay, there you go.
And that goes until 12:15 tomorrow morning.
Gotcha, so that it's issued till 12:15. Again, that is the same severe thunderstorm warning we have been tracking through northern Bourbon County for the last 2 or 3 hours at this point. Still some very strong winds coming out of that storm.
Especially on the south side of Fort Scott. We've been watching the velocities, and I've got that pulled up right now. This is the storm relative velocities. This is moving towards Mountville and Bernal and Arcadia. They're in extreme southeastern Bourbon County and extreme northeastern Crawford County. And then, of course, now we're starting to get into northwestern Barton County. So you folks in those areas around Harrison, these strong winds are moving towards you. And so we're looking at around 60 to 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, which can move things around a little bit. So make sure that you have your yard furniture picked up, and because that could be moved around just a little bit with these thunderstorms as they continue to move to the south. And of course, that does also include southern Vernon County to the south of Nevada. So lots of severe weather going on this morning. This is just the start of the entire complex that we've been watching and forecasting for quite some time today, Sam.
Exactly. And again, the lesser known threat with those, of course, we're going to have that wind threat and that hail threat. The torrential rainfall, this storm is producing about 1.5 inches of rain per hour already. It's moving at just 35 miles per hour. So as it moves just in an hour, you could get up towards of 3 inches of rain off of this. So flash flooding is an issue. So again, please take caution if you are out driving for any reason or any point tonight. If you see any standing water, just turn around. Please do not drown. And again, we will continue to monitor these severe thunderstorm warnings. At the moment, I believe.
Well, and what I did is I took the radar off, so now you can see displayed where the flash flood warning in effect for northern Bourbon County and also northwestern Vernon County. And again, that's because of the flash flooding that's going on with the heavy rainfall, with these storms not moving all that quickly. And we're also getting redevelopment over and over again. And this is something that we talked about because the winds aloft are very weak. And so there's not a lot of push to these thunderstorms as of yet. And so they've been developing and redeveloping over the same area. And now we have the low-level jet kicking in. And so we're going to see these storms kind of redeveloping over the same areas. And so that's why turn around, don't drown. And especially if you live in a low-lying area and you're prone to flash flooding, you know who you are. And so those folks need to be especially careful. And as these creeks and rising streams can occur very quickly. And so, there's usually more than one way to get somewhere. You don't necessarily have to drive off into high water. In fact, flash flooding kills more people than any other natural disaster typically in the United States. So, like you said, we don't need to be doing any news stories tomorrow about people driving off into high water and then drowning as a result. But we do need the rainfall because
Yes.
we've been in a drought for quite some time, and it looks like we're getting definitely some plentiful rainfall tonight, especially up towards the north. And in addition to that, we're getting these occasional severe thunderstorms. And boy, these winds, Sam, are really picking up now in extreme southeastern Bourbon County, east of Highway 69, getting ready to cross into Missouri there in southwestern Vernon County. So if you live north of Arcadia and west of Highway, I believe that's 43, west of Missouri 43, there in Vernon County, these strong winds are definitely moving towards you.
Yep. So definitely, if you're anywhere in that area, you need to take shelter now. At the moment, we'll go ahead and tackle some comments we got going on.
Sure.
Joplin is...
While you're doing that, I'm going to step out and talk to the control booth because we have to do the on-air stuff as well.
Gotcha.
And those winds, Sam, are now increasing again.
Awesome. Not awesome, but something to keep an eye on. Tackling some of these comments, is Joplin going to have a tornado? Not likely. It is. Tornadoes are a possibility continuously throughout the next several hours as we continue throughout the day. It's not the main threat, as we've been saying. The wind is the main threat, large hail, and this torrential rainfall. It's really going to be what's taking us, it's really affecting us throughout the four-state area throughout most of the night. So again, we cannot rule out the tornadoes, but they really are not the main issue or the main problem we're going to face tonight. What else we got going on? They're kind of in a middle pattern right now. They're not really strengthening or weakening. They definitely are more on a slight strengthening trend. They're not astronomically exploding. We're not going to have nothing and go straight to any sort of large tornado feed or anything like that. They are strengthening slightly, but again, and actually they are weakening a little bit as the hail size has decreased over the last several hours. So
Sam,
really, we're right in the middle right now.
I'm going to be using Weather 1 here, so I may need you to kind of truck it around for me a little bit.
Gotcha.
Because I'm going to start out on this right here, and then I'm going to go to the storm further to the west.
Gotcha. And are you going live now, or are you going to be a second?
Yeah, here in just a second.
Okay.
I don't have IFB in case I'm just going to wait and start whenever I see the monitor because I don't have IFB. I don't have battery in the IFB.
I can throw mine on real quick.
Yeah, if you could put it together for me and then. All right, good evening, everyone. Meteorologist Sam Lane here alongside student meteorologist Sam Patterson. We've been watching these severe thunderstorms up towards the north, and now they're getting closer to the metro area. In fact, we have some very in the morning hours. Most of this is now east of US Highway 69. And, oh, sorry about that. Battery went out, or I don't know. All right, hopefully that fixed the problem. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for southeastern Bourbon County, southwestern Vernon County, extreme northeastern Crawford County, and northwestern Barton County. And that's because of these strong winds right now that is now moving east of Highway 69, getting ready to cross the Kansas-Missouri state line. That warning goes until 12:15. We have other storms back towards the west, and if Sam could truck it on back towards the west, and we'll take a look at the warning that is in effect for Woodson County and also the northern part of Wilson County. That includes Buffalo and also Yates Center. Some pretty strong winds now on the south side of Yates Center along Highway 75. That warning goes until midnight. Now, Sam, if we can go back to Bourbon County and take off the radar data but leave on the flash flood warning and kind of move this up a little bit, because we do have a flash flood warning now for northern Bourbon County and northwestern Vernon County. And again, it's because these storms are going over the same area over and over again, and they're producing quite a bit of heavy rain in a very, very short period of time. So remember, turn around, don't drown is the rule. There's usually more than one way to get somewhere. So if water's crossing your road, just find a different direction, as we are seeing heavy rains in this area and causing some flash flooding. And that warning goes until 5 a.m. this morning. So that's going to be in effect for most of the morning hours. And of course, we're under a severe thunderstorm watch for most of the area until 3 a.m. this morning. Stay with us and we'll keep you advised right here at the Skywatch Weather Center and KOAM. Have a great morning. Okay, cool. Why was my microphone not working?
Did it die again?
No, it goes. See, look at it. It blinks, it blinks, it blinks again. I just want to just throw them in the trash.
I heard you in Q, like right up until I hit the open, and then
Well, did you? It like goes to red, then green, and then back to red, green. I mean, I don't know what.
just been running flat since we've had it on.
All right, very good.
All right, so at the moment we are experiencing some slight technical difficulties
This one right here?
with some microphones going on at the moment. We'll get that taken care of, and meteorologist Sam Lane will be back with us. I see you guys talking about that lightning going on. We'll take a look at Joplin Skycam at 7.
One, two, three, testing one. Okay, now we're back. Okay, we'll just use this one, Sam, and if you need to. So there's the lightning off in the distance from our tower cam at 7th and Range Line. Apologize, folks, for the microphone problems here at KOAM. We've been on the air for quite a while this evening, so our batteries and our wireless mics kind of have a tendency to go out on us. And so please bear with us on that. We're trying our best to keep you informed. And of course, you know, technology, you got to love it. Anyway, let's go back to radar and show you what's going on. We've been dealing with some heavy rains up towards the north and west in northern Bourbon County and northwestern Vernon County. So flash flood warning is in effect until 5 a.m. And of course, that's because of all the heavy rain that has been occurring with these storms over the last several hours. And if we go back and show the reflectivity, you can see the storms are now starting to move out of the area. They're kind of drifting more to the south. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning there for southeastern Bourbon, western and southwestern parts of Vernon County, northwestern Barton, and extreme northeastern Crawford County. And we also, of course, have that severe thunderstorm warning for southeastern Woodson and northeastern Wilson County. And if we take a look at the velocities, because that's the main story that's been going on with this storm that's now starting to move into northern parts and northeastern Crawford County. You can see here on the velocities that the winds are really picking up there. East of Highway 69, right now just north of Arcadia. So if you live in Arcadia, you're being impacted pretty strongly right now with those strong winds. That's going to continue to move to the east, southeast between Brenau and Barton City, right on the Vernon-Barton County line, north of Liberal. And so if you live in that area in southwestern Vernon County and northwestern Barton, that storm is headed towards you with these very strong and powerful winds that can do damage similar to a small tornado. Now, it's not a tornado warning, but these winds are packing a little bit of a punch. So if you live in that area, especially around Arcadia, and just to the north and east of Arcadia, moving towards Brenau and Barton City, just be aware of that. All right, let's take a look at some of the comments, Sam, if you can, while I find my glasses somewhere. I don't know if you, well, I'll look for them. You go ahead and talk to us about what people, oh, here they are. I found them.
National Weather Service in Springfield has issued a special weather statement. Basically, they issued them a lot. It's kind of just a step below the severe thunderstorm warnings, and that will extend into the majority of Crawford County in Kansas. That storm is moving towards the southeast. I do not know exactly what speed. Winds, gusts of 50 miles per hour possible, and again, also half-inch size hail possible through there as we move throughout, as that storm moves to the southeast.
Right.
And that will be valid until 12:15 tomorrow morning, so we're finally breaking into
The morning hours, yeah.
storms.
Yeah, and someone's asking about the tornado risk. Yeah, the tornado risk is small. The winds aloft are not really conducive for a lot of spin. Not to say that it can happen, but the risk is very low. It's not zero, but it's low. So the main concern is the straight line damaging winds, large hail, heavy rain, and of course, very frequent lightning. It's like a strobe light show out there right now. In fact, let's see, we've got the radar. Here's a look at the velocities right now. This is zoomed in to southwestern Vernon County, northwestern Barton County, specifically around Arcadia. If you live along or just north and east of Arcadia, you're really getting hammered right now by some very strong winds. That is moving towards Missouri 43, running between Barton and Vernon County. And so that's where it's headed. It's headed towards Brenau and Barton City. And if I zoom in a little bit closer, you can see it's very near the community of Harrison, or just south of there, and north of Leroy. So if you're on the Barton-Vernon County line, south of Harrison, near Brenau, north of Leroy, and north of Barton City, that's where these strong winds are going to be moving over the next 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, and also near Arcadia. So we're watching these storms very closely because sometimes these storms can produce spin-ups, which are called QLCS type tornadoes. Generally, they're weaker and smaller than a big bona fide tornado, but they can do damage and they can be dangerous. And so we're watching out for the possibility that no tornado warnings are in effect right now, thank goodness, just severe thunderstorm warnings. And also now, as we go into the morning hours, Sam, we're concerned more and more about the potential flash flooding. We already have one flash flood warning up in northern Bourbon County and northwestern Vernon County, where several inches of rainfall has already fallen.
Yeah, and again, I would expect several more to be issued throughout the night, especially as these storms move to the southeast. We could possibly see them in Crawford, maybe in Cherokee County, maybe Barton, Jasper counties in Missouri. We'll see how long these storms stick around and what kind of speed they continue to move up. They have been speeding up a little bit from like 15 miles per hour to about 35 at the moment. So
Right.
Possibilities for flash flooding will be a little bit on the lower side, but it is still very much a possibility because rainfall precipitation amounts per hour is still up around 1.5 to 3 inches an hour.
Exactly, some of those isolated storms. And so now the storms are starting to congeal into a more of a squall line, what we call mesoscale convective system or a mesoscale convective complex. And so that's what we've been anticipating in the forecast all day, and now we're starting to see that. It's still about an hour to an hour and a half away from the metro area. So as we get closer to like 1 a.m. to 2 a.m., that's when I expect it to kind of be moving into the metro area. So we're going to, of course, keep an eye on that. But right now, the only warning that is currently in effect is there in extreme southeastern Bourbon County, extreme northeastern Crawford County, northwestern Barton, and southwestern Vernon County. And that's on that cell that is impacting the area around Arcadia most intensely right now. And we're seeing temperatures dropping down into the 70s behind this complex where it has been raining. And so we're continuing to watch that. Kaylee, I don't think you necessarily have to be ready to use the safety plan tonight, but just kind of be aware of the situation. But of course, we'll let you know if anything does become tornadic or starts to look suspicious. But right now, the major concern is right there around the Arcadia area. And by the way, if you experience any kind of damage or reports, we'd like to, or hail, just answer that or send us that information in the chat. And that is very helpful to us to kind of ascertain how strong these storms are, Sam.
Exactly. But again, also, please do not go out and look for these storms. Even us as meteorologists, never chase in this environment. It's going to be really hard to see anything.
At nighttime, yeah.
It's going to be nighttime. It's going to be dark. With the amount of rainfall having, you're not going to be able to see very far in front of you. I would like to see, I don't know if we have anything with visibility distance on it, but I can't imagine it's probably much more than a mile in some of these places. So.
Right, and like a lot of people are commenting that it's very soupy outside right now. And that's because the dew points are like in the mid to upper 70s. In some places down in Oklahoma earlier today, the dew points were in the low 80s, which is almost unheard of. Very rare to see that. So that's why we had heat indexes well over 110. In fact, it was 121 heat index earlier today west of Tulsa. So that just kind of goes to show you the air is almost thick enough to like wear. You know, it's like a coat. But of course, because of all that water vapor that's in the atmosphere, you're getting a supercharged atmosphere, and that's why we're seeing this intense amount of lightning that is occurring with these storms as well. So people might lose power due to not only the gusty winds, but also lightning strikes. So of course, we're keeping an eye on that as well.
For most of you who are talking about how hot it is out, you might be interested to hear. Right now in Sedan, it's still 94 degrees, and it is currently 11:50 p.m. In Pittsburgh, it's 87. Joplin is sitting at 88, and Neodesha's at 90. As you finally get a little further north toward the Fort Scott area, you see those temperatures down in the 70s. But most of us are still pushing 90 degrees, and we are 8 minutes away from tomorrow.
Right, right. Yeah, and so it's going to be a long night. Of course, Chris Warner's going to be coming in here in just a little bit to help out as we start the morning shift. And so there's going to be someone here in the Skywatch Weather Center all night long and all morning long, keeping you informed and advised of what's going on. But again, the good news is we're not expecting a big tornado threat, just some strong damaging winds, like I said right now, around Arcadia and just to the north and east of Arcadia on the Vernon-Barton County line, north of Liberal. So that warning will continue until 12:15, so about another 15 minutes. And then if that warning is not reissued, then there will be no severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for our area. The only thing we'll have left is that flash flood warning, of course, for northern Bourbon and northern Vernon County. We've also been watching some other storms developing down in Oklahoma, but it appears that those storms are going to be moving more towards Tulsa and not towards our viewing area in Craig, Ottawa, Delaware, and Nowata counties. The storms that are over our area now in southeast Kansas are going to be making a track to the south and will eventually move into northern Oklahoma. But right now, northern Oklahoma is not under a thunderstorm watch. That only includes southeastern Kansas and southwest Missouri until 3 a.m. Look at the lightning. Just tremendous amounts of lightning with these storms as they continue to roll to the south and east. And of course, I'm zooming in on the area of the strongest winds just to the east of Arcadia, moving towards Barton City. So if you live in the community of Barton City and Bernal and Liberal, those winds are moving towards you and will be there in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Parsons, Kansas, be all right. Well, Parsons is going to be experiencing the storms very shortly.
Yep. It's not. It hasn't hit yet. It is on its way.
Right.
It's not. It shouldn't be. It might be low grade severe. 60-mile-per-hour wind gust, upwards of an inch to an inch and a half sized hail. And again, the torrential rainfall are the main topics that we are taking a focus on tonight. That tornado risk is very low at the moment. Cannot rule them out, but it's still very low risk at the moment.
Right, and as we go through the morning hours, the threat is going to become less and less of a tornado threat and a greater risk of flash flooding and the winds. Even the hail threat will start to decrease as well. So the tornado threat and hail threat will start to decrease, and then the wind threat and the flooding threat will begin to increase. Especially as we go through the forecast, Sam, we've been looking at the possibility of tonight being really the first night of a wave of storm activity beginning tonight, and then again tomorrow night into Friday morning, and then yet another wave of storms Friday evening into Saturday morning. So this is wave number one, but we have 2 more waves to come, and that's why we're kind of harping on the flooding threat, because as we go through the next several days, some places could pick up several inches of rainfall. And of course, as more and more rain falls on top of that, it aggravates the flooding situation. And so that's why we're mentioning it quite a bit now. But of course, we need the rain.
Yes.
That's
but
for
again,
sure.
as you've been saying the last several weeks, we've been under drought for almost
Right.
a year and a half, 2 years at this point. When you have ground that dry, when you have a bunch of rain like this, it doesn't seep in because it's so dry. It's just going
Right.
to sit, and that's why we have this flash flooding risk. That's why we have the flash flooding or
Right,
flash
because
flood
it all
warning
runs off.
for
Yeah, it runs off very
for Bourbon
quickly.
County.
We need a really good soaking rain, but
Yes.
unfortunately, that's not what we're talking about here. But repeated rounds of rain like we're having tonight will be beneficial for the drought situation. In fact, the drought monitor map will be updated tomorrow. So, of course, Doug Heddy will have additional information on that tomorrow evening. So that's good. Okay.
Tired Mama, you're bringing up the lightning being a dangerous thing, hitting trees and stuff. Lightning's always dangerous, I will start off with that, but the amount of lightning we're seeing tonight, I can't imagine there hasn't been something that hasn't, I feel like everything's been hit at least twice by lightning bolts with the amount of lightning that we're seeing on these storms at the moment.
And Tired Mama, we appreciate that report that went through Franklin County. The lightning became dangerous, hitting trees and whatnot everywhere. They had strong winds too, but did not see any hail. Remind me of a mild version of May of 2008. Yeah, that was an event. You might be referring to the May 2009 event. I'm not sure. But there was what we call a derecho. And a derecho has a specific definition. It's basically a windstorm that lasts several hours. It has a certain length and a certain width and a certain time frame. And so it is kind of a miniature derecho tonight. But we really are not seeing a large swath of damaging winds like you would see in a derecho. But yeah, very similar to that, like a miniature or baby version of that. Again, right now, the winds appear to be weakening just a tad there along the Barton-Vernon County lines, south of Harrison and north of Liberal. I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer in view. You can see just north of Leroy now, along Northwest 90th Road and North Highway K is where the strongest winds are right now, just west of Missouri 43 in northern Barton County, approaching Barton City. So if you live in that area south of Bernal, near Barton City and near Leroy, that's where the strongest winds are right now. But
You might show them the lightning map real quick.
Let's throw on the lightning, because this is impressive, folks. You almost kind of look at the lightning that is occurring with these storms. I'm going to zoom out of here a little bit. Just look at the amount of lightning that is occurring with these storms. So hopefully you're not outside in it, but even the storm back into southern Woodson County, tremendous amounts of lightning, and of course tremendous amounts of lightning with the storm now getting ready to move into western Missouri. So it's quite a lightning show, and of course that's going to continue through the morning hours as well. But right now the only warning that is still in effect is the warning there for a portion of those 4 counties: Bourbon, northeastern Crawford, northwestern Barton, and southwestern Vernon County until 12:15, which is about another 15 minutes. Let's pull up the tower cam, and this is looking to the northwest at 7th and Range Line. We're going to kind of rotate it around here, and you can kind of see. Oh, you're taking it full, and yeah, just rotate it around. And that's looking due north on Range Line. And so you can see lots and lots of lightning, almost like constant lightning with that activity. So if you do lose power, you can of course still watch us right here on YouTube on your phone. And I'm sure a lot of folks may have generators, but if you do lose power, it's probably not going to last all that long, and I'm sure they'll be restoring power pretty quickly. Matter of fact, let's see if there are any power outages right now. Type in power outages US, and there's usually a map. And we'll just kind of take a look. Oh, there are some power outages in Missouri, up in Bates County. There's about 481 customers are out of power right now up in Bates County.
As of 10 minutes ago. So
yeah, as of 10 minutes ago, right. So there are some power outages occurring, but as of right now, it looks like Kansas is in pretty good shape. Let's take a look at Kansas real quick. I don't think there's going to be any power outages in Kansas, but maybe one or...
Yeah,
okay, here's one in Anderson County. Again, one of those counties that had storms for a couple of hours. There's about 213 customers of out of power there in Anderson County from Evergy, and then 28 customers out of power at Heartland Rural Electric. So you add those two together and you're looking at about 230, 240 people out of power there in Anderson County. So there are some power outages occurring, likely due to the intense lightning activity that is occurring with these storms right now. I'm going to take off this and we're going to look at these velocities one more time as they start to move into northern Barton County. And again, just east of Arcadia, these storms are not moving all that quickly, so these winds can last quite a bit of, yeah, let's switch that back. There you go. Thank you, Sam.
Yep.
So you can see right now, just to the east of Arcadia, west, northwest of Barton City, that's where the strongest winds are right now.
A little bit hot, yep, you're probably just about to start hearing that thunder. Lots of lightning right above that front neck area. Still a little bit north of you, so give it just a few more minutes and it'll probably lighten up just a little more. Dylan, down in McDonald County. McDonald County's really not seeing much of anything right now. Still got a long way to go through the rest of the night. Could see something late tonight in the next 2 or 3 hours, 2 or 3 in the morning, maybe 4 a.m.
In fact, let's put on the loop here so that people can kind of get a general idea of what's been going on. I'm going to just make this go back the last, got to put my eyes on here. Let's go back the last 4 hours. And so over the last 4 hours, you can kind of see the motion on these storms developing up to the north. Now we're getting a little bit of a momentum here. Now it's starting to move into the Pittsburgh area. Matter of fact, could you go tell them to go to backup power if they haven't already? Because we're going to be dealing with lots of lightning and the storms coming into our area here at the station in about the next 30 to 45 minutes. But you can see on the motion that there's a general push now to the south. So we're going to see these getting closer and closer to the metro area over the next hour to 2 hours. So you're definitely going to be woke up by the thunder and lightning. That is for sure. There is lots of lightning and lots of thunder to be had with these storms. And of course, the torrential rainfall that can produce periods or small pockets of flash flooding. Okay, so that is what's going on with that right now. Let's go back to our comments here. Wind picking up in Lanigan, okay, that's good to know. Hearing the thunder in Frontenac, yep. So they're hearing the thunder in Frontenac now. It's not in Monette, where again, this is not a really significant major severe weather outbreak. I want to make that clear. We just had these periodic pulses of severe storms with the primary threat now switching more from a low tornado threat to now more of a damaging wind and heavy rain potential flash flooding event. The hail threat is decreasing and the tornado threat is decreasing as well. But the lightning threat is still very significant, very significant.
And as Sam said just a little bit ago, it is pretty likely that it is, I mean, with the amount of lightning we're seeing, it's probably just hitting everything. Might hit a power pole or two. Yeah. Could see some power loss. Hopefully not, but again, it is a possibility. And I do want to
see that in a few counties isolated. Yeah.
And I do want to point out this radar loop is really doing a great shot of showing really how slowly storms are moving. It's been 4 hours, and up in Lynn County, you've basically had storms through all of that. Bourbon County's been in it for 3 or 4 hours as well. I mean, they just sat and dumped large amounts of rain over long periods of time. Again, that flooding threat is very real. Please take that. I mean, we say it a lot, but you definitely need to. This is
turn
one of
around,
those
don't drown.
exactly.
Yeah. Right now, again, the strongest winds are in northwestern Barton County, between Arcadia and Liberal, moving to the east, southeast, heading towards Missouri Highway 43. So that's where the strongest winds are right now. And if we look back towards the west, I'm not seeing strong winds with this activity necessarily in southern Woodson County. Gusty winds a little bit on Highway 75 north of Buffalo and south of Yates Center, but we're not seeing anything rotating, and we're not seeing the strongest winds there as we are over in Barton County near Arcadia. Yes, sir, did you need something? Oh, tell her I'll call her back.
Stam, live in a mobile home. Do I need to take shelter? I don't know exactly where you're at. The severe weather, it's going to have some strong winds with it. You don't necessarily need to leave right at this moment. I don't know where you're at. I guess it would depend on where you're at exactly, but definitely need to have that backup plan ready just in case, see storms fire up again. We've seen 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. I think I saw one earlier that maybe pushed 102 miles per hour. So definitely just make sure you have that backup plan in place. And again,
I always advise people, if threatening weather approaches you, then yes, go ahead and seek shelter. Don't wait for the tornado warning necessarily. And like I said, the tornado threat tonight is very, very low. It's not zero, but it's low. We're just mainly concerned about strong, gusty winds that can do damage similar to a small tornado. But I would say you're probably going to be okay in your mobile home tonight, looking at the velocities and the way the winds have been tonight. But if that changes, we'll of course let you know. It is helpful to kind of know where you are, because right now, he's in the diamond area. Yeah, you're fine at this point. The
probably
strongest
fine
winds,
for another hour,
Right.
hour and a half.
Right. Right now, the strongest winds are in northwestern Barton County. Northwestern Barton County, near the community of Arcadia.
Would you mind throwing up reflectivity for me real quick?
Yeah, it's coming down in Frontenac right now. What did you want to see?
Just reflectivity
Oh,
on
the
that.
reflectivity. All right, let's take a look at the reflectivity, and we will pull that up. Yeah, and so, again, very heavy rain and frequent
Yes.
lightning, of course.
Let me take a look.
In fact, when I throw on the lightning, it basically covers all of the
You can't
reflectivity.
see anything, yes,
Yeah, you can't
exactly.
even hardly see the radar because of all the lightning strikes that are occurring with this storm activity. So,
Rainfall precipitation rates just to the north around the Girard, Pittsburgh area and Crawford County, Kansas. Right now, precipitation rates are 3¼ inches per hour.
Yeah.
And again, these aren't moving super fast, so these could drop a lot of rain. And again, we keep saying it over and over again, just we got to get the point across. We do have that flash flooding risk, and this is exactly why we have those flash
That's right.
flooding risks going on.
and now we have a new severe thunderstorm warning for eastern St. Clair County. Actually, that storm is kind of moving out of St. Clair County, so I would not be concerned about that. That warning goes on until another 8 minutes anyway, but that storm has now passed through St. Clair County, now moving into Cedar County around Stockton. Not under a warning at this point in Stockton, just some heavy rain, frequent lightning, and some gusty winds there in Cedar County. But of course, this entire complex is moving to the south and east. In fact, if I go ahead and put this in motion again, over the last 4 hours, this is the motion over the last 4 hours, you can see that there is now a little bit of a push more to the south, especially with that storm that's moving through Crawford County, moving into the Pittsburgh area right now. So you're going to be hearing lots of thunder, lots of lightning, but just wanted to make you aware that the only warning that is in effect right now is that one cell that's moving into northwestern Barton County, and that will go until 12:15, which is about another 7 minutes or so. Okay.
Jason out in Golden City asking, Golden City has not had its event yet, but you can see that
No, but
severe
it's in the
thunderstorm.
distance.
You can see that severe thunderstorm warning. If it continues on its path, it'll be almost a direct shot into Golden City.
Right.
Could get the southern to south central edge of that storm. Again, at the moment it is clear, but your storm is still hasn't gotten there yet. It is on its way, and
It's
we will
moving
continue
there, so
to
probably
monitor
about
it.
another hour or so, it will start to move into the Golden City area and the rest of Barton County. That is if they extend the warning. There's a possibility that they may not extend the warning, but we'll have to wait and see. But based on the velocities, and I'm going to pull up that one more time because that's what's really the big concern out of this particular cell right now. The strongest velocities are still there, right in the community of Leroy, to the north and west of Liberal in Barton County. So if you live in northern Barton County along Highway K, just west of Highway K, and between Highway V and Northwest 40th Road, that's where the strongest winds are moving towards, and of course that's west of Missouri 43, there in western Barton County. That's where the strongest winds are right now. And if we go back and take a look at these winds, but these storms, now this is picking up a little bit in southeastern Woodson County, now to the north of Kansas State Highway 39, in extreme southeastern Woodson and extreme northern Wilson County, just to the north and east of Buffalo. So the winds are picking up a little bit in that area. And again, as we go through the overnight and morning hours, the primary threat will be the strong winds and the heavy rainfall and of course the lightning.
Yep.
So the hail threat is decreasing and the tornado threat is also likely decreasing as well, because now we're starting to get a squall line. And now sometimes you can get brief little spin-ups that occur along the leading edge of a squall line, and those are called QLCS type tornadoes or quasi-linear convective system type tornadoes, but we haven't seen that as of yet, but that's something that we'll keep an eye on as well. Okay, I think that's going to do it for right now because the warning is getting ready to expire, Sam, and I don't know if they're going to reissue.
They issued a special weather statement.
Okay.
So again, a step below that severe thunderstorm
And what
warning.
is that statement?
55 mile per hour wind, so it's right below that severe thunderstorm warning, and that is for the Pittsburgh area down to south central Cherokee County, over to Jasper County, up through Barton County, over into a little bit of Lawrence County as well.
Right.
So it's a very wide area, but again, special weather statement, a step below that severe level. We could see that severe, they issue that severe thunderstorm warning. We'll keep an eye on it, and we'll probably hop back on the YouTube if they do issue that severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, if they
That's
do,
about
if
all
they
we
do
got at the
extend the
moment.
warning, then when did that statement get issued? Because usually they will issue.
They just issued it.
They just issued,
Till
okay.
12:45.
So they're more than likely not going to extend the warning
Okay.
on that storm, is what I would guess. But this storm out near Yates Center, with those winds picking up, pull it up over there and see if the winds are still, are they increasing or decreasing out there in Woodson County, southern Woodson County, south of Yates Center. We're going to take a quick look at the velocities there. Yeah, that doesn't appear to be severe criteria. Of course, the Wichita office is going to be responsible for that one.
40.
So that's the way it's shaping up right now. If anything changes, we'll be sure to let you know right here on YouTube.